Ryan, it seems like I just saw you, and now here you are back again.
Are we on?
You got the same shirt you had on last time?
Did I wear this last time?
You know, this is such a treat that we have here. You know, we've known each other for a long time. And
I'm embarrassed.
To be here and to... It's like a gift we give to the world. Are we heroes? I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying no either.
Let me say it for you. We are heroes.
Well, this is how this works. The big vat of wrestling magazines, I reach in, I grab something and I pull it out, and I look at the cover and I say, is this a time that we haven't really done yet? Is this a great... Does this cover move me? It's all that kind of stuff moves me.
Wait a minute. I thought you just picked one and that's what we do.
I've picked them in the past, and I've looked at them, and it's like the month after one we've already done. And I don't want to do that. That's just so shortly after.
So I thought you were going to say, I've looked at them and that's bullshit. No,
I go by the month.
Okay.
Sometimes it's one that's like the month after one we've already done.
Change it up a little bit.
I try to change it a little bit.
Keep it fresh.
A little bit. But it's,
Make it hard on us so we're thinking.
So, Ryan, what do you say about this? WWF Raw Magazine.
Whew.
From February of 1998.
That looks like a fun one.
And here we've got China, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H of D-Generation X.
Man, I've never felt gayer than I do right now.
And that's saying something.
And I really like Shawn Michaels.
He's nude behind that belt, you got to imagine.
I know it. I just really like Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. I would have liked that picture better if Triple H was looking down.
I would have liked that picture better if Triple H wasn't in it. But I'm not a huge
Touche.
February of '98. What comes to mind for you?
A lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun times. I'm at this point. I'm laying in my grandmother's bed with the clicker, going back and forth between Raw and Nitro every week. I'm living for it. Tuesday morning, I'm thinking about next week's Monday night.
Now the clicker is. Explain to somebody what a clicker is.
People don't know what the clicker is. Okay,
I think that's a regional thing. They might not know.
Okay, well, the clicker is the remote for the television.
Yeah, very good.
And I'm going back and forth between USA and TNT, between Monday Night Raw, what we're talking about here, Raw, and Nitro around this time.
I want to say
WCW.
I want to say this. The version of Shawn Michaels from the summer of '97 to when he lost the title to Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania in March of '98 is one of my favorite wrestling characters of all time. He's so full of himself, but at the same time his body's kind of he's injured. He's angry about that. It's such, to me, it's drama. This guy can outwork anybody. He knows if he gets a microphone in his hand, he can eviscerate anybody.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of my favorites of all time. And I know you like the Shawn Michaels even before that, who's the boyhood dream Shawn Michaels.
But at this point, he's
sexy
seasoned.
Boy, the boy toy Shawn Michaels.
He's seasoned. He's in control. He's like a ring general. He's built for this. Not just in a match where he always was really good in the ring.
Yeah.
But now he's controlling like the events going on around him, where it's, you know, like you say, creating drama.
I always considered what some people would call the Attitude Era. I always considered that to be named after Shawn Michaels. Because I feel like the attitude he brought, and of course Steve Austin had an attitude going on.
Yeah.
But Shawn Michaels, too, was really up in the attitude. What became known as that. It's a shame he wasn't around for a part of it.
I was going to say, he kind of lit the fuse that sent the rocket into the Attitude Era, but then he was gone while it was going on.
Maybe some more of that anger that was coming from him. He kind of set this up, and now he's injured and can't take part in it.
I've always heard, he missed the money.
Well, let's see here. Vince Russo is upset because Vince McMahon is not getting the respect that he deserves, it looks like. How do you feel about that?
Who's upset?
Vic Venom? Vince Russo?
Vince Russo's upset.
How do you feel about that?
I don't think I care. Turn the page. Sonny.
Venom to sue Sonny for sexual harassment. According to the magazine staff, Sonny became irate with Vic Venom, Vince Russo, upon learning that Sable would be involved in the photo essay. Although a group representing both genders selected this cover, Sonny claimed it wasn't her. The story here, if I remember correctly, This picture was chosen to be the cover of Raw Magazine, and Sunny felt that this was too suggestive with her mouth open like that in the water.
Is that why her face is blurred?
Because, yes.
Huh. I like it.
Does that fit in? She claimed that didn't fit in with Sunny. It was too...
I like it. I like it with her face blurred.
After Venom handed creative control for the photo shoot to Sunny, the entire production had to be scrapped when she claimed that there wasn't enough time to tan and dye it. She sounds like a real diva.
Wow. She was, though. She was stunning.
Well, if you're posed like that with your mouth open, maybe that's a little too suggestive for the WWF.
Pose me with my mouth open. Pay me.
Well, if it doesn't make...
I don't know where to go from there. I'm just saying. I don't feel this way about anything. I'm saying bring your cameras and bring the paycheck, bring the checkbook, and let's get the mouth open. We'll pop the chest out.
If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. You've always said that. That's been one of your mottos.
Always.
Yeah.
Always been one of my mottos.
Would you do... I'm not saying Sonny was nude in those pictures, but...
What wouldn't I do?
If someone said to you, let's take some pictures of you nude,
Okay.
would there be a price tag on that, or would you immediately say, I'm not doing that?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, would there be a price tag on that, or would you immediately say, I am doing it? Because...
I guess my point to that is, you'll do anything if the price is right.
Yep.
Okay. Glad we got that straightened out.
Me and my brother always say, he wants the credit, I want the money.
The credit, what does that mean? The credit for what?
He wants, like...
He wants the
when
respect.
he does a good job, he wants someone to tell him. I just want to do a good job and get paid. That's how we move. That's how we operate naturally. It's not like a forced thing. You can just tell it about us.
Didn't Bret Hart once say, other people are greedy for money, I'm greedy for respect?
There you go.
And that's what your brother does, you say.
That's what we've always said. Yeah, together.
He said that.
He said it. We've agreed to it. And you know, if he said it, I mean, he means it.
And what do you want? You want the money?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I have a lot of self-respect. I don't need it from anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. I don't mean it's not nice, but I want the money.
Boy, the New Age Outlaws of late '97 and early '98 were a lot of fun. The early days of the Road Dogg.
But was it... Now, wait a minute. Isn't he wearing the rockabilly clothes there?
Well...
It looks like he just came off an Indian reservation.
Yeah, he was wearing those trunks for a while before he switched to the smaller pants.
How did that work back then? Would you put in like an order, like over the phone for new wrestling gear, and then like you'd have to wait for it to come in the mail? So maybe for a couple of weeks you'd have a different character, but you'd have to wrestle in your old character's trunks?
I think there was a time when that happened. I think WWF got to a point where they had seamstresses and everything backstage.
That's only logical.
Take care of it right away
because there's so much costuming.
Yeah.
You think you'd have to do that for WWF.
I think they had to do that eventually. Yeah.
Is China not wearing pants there? Is she not wearing bottoms? Does she think it's too suggestive?
To this day, she remains a mystery. Little is known about the woman behind China.
Who's that fella?
Do you like these?
Oh, these are all China.
Do you like these arty black and white pictures of China? I mean, she's working out. You're obviously in the gym all the time. Does that do anything for you? Obviously has a good physique and has been working hard on her muscles.
I'm trying to figure out how she gets so much result. I haven't been doing it that long, though. I've got to be patient, I guess.
Well, you have a... Well, I'm not going to get into your problems right now.
I didn't smell a compliment coming. The so-called Greenwich snob image was BS. What does that mean?
I think this is when Triple H was trying to get away from... He was trying to get a little more attitude.
So for years he pretended to be a Greenwich snob. So they were saying that.
Well, Triple H is like you. He wants the money. He doesn't care.
He wants the money. Yeah, I can't say something bad about that.
Oh man, have you ever seen this clip?
If I was China wearing something like that, I'd be really worried that somebody would see my penis.
Wearing something like what?
In the back, the last page.
China's not on these pages.
No, the last page you were on. I'd be worried about that.
You ever seen this video?
Jesus, what the hell kind of pedigree is this?
There's a clip of Triple H doing a pedigree, and his opponent apparently gets geared up for a pile driver.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Did he hurt him, or do you think it just?
No, I don't.
It looks bad.
It looks bad, doesn't it?
I never saw The Rock take it like that.
Triple H to me always seemed like he was trying too hard. Like I remember in his time with DX around this time, he'd be in the back with like his T-shirt, and he would like make some kind of like sexual innuendo. But I always got the impression that he was just like it wasn't sincere with him. Like he was trying so hard to be cool and edgy, and it came across to me as being very insincere.
It was really make or break time for Triple H because it was his big opportunity.
Yeah.
He had gone nowhere. He had been doing a lot of stale things, having matches that nobody cared about, and now all of a sudden you're with the company's biggest talent, and you've been pushed together with him. And
He had to make the most of that situation.
right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was not
I give him credit for that.
It's right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I give him credit for that. He took advantage of an opportunity.
He did. He did that, and he saddled himself with good people. He sidled up next to good people.
The thing that always bothered me about Triple H was I think that, in my opinion, Triple H was never really that cool, but he was always around guys who were kind of cool guys, like Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. So he was like trying to be cool, but he really wasn't.
Well, a lot of the time you get judged by the company you keep, and like I said, he put himself with good people. He put himself in a situation to succeed.
That's interesting. Well, I always worry about now, I guess that he's in charge of NXT. And it's like, to me, I don't know if I want that guy, like, deciding, like, what's cool and what isn't. I don't know if he's the best judge of that.
Do you think it's possible that maybe he was a little cooler behind the scenes?
Maybe.
But when you look at those guys, like, off camera, Shawn Michaels and Hall and Nash and the kid, right? X-Pac. Whatever.
The kid.
Whatever. Waltman. Shawn Waltman.
The 1, 2, 3 kid.
When you look at the 1, 2, 3 kid and those guys, and you kind of get the feeling that one's kind of best friends with this one or a little closer with this one. You got like those 5 guys in that clique. I never see any of them like that Triple H is their best guy. It doesn't. That never feels like the thing to me. You know what I mean? It always just seems like, you know, Hall loves the kid and they all kind of love Waltman, it seems like, actually.
Yeah, that's
seems
interesting.
like. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like Triple H. Maybe it's because of his success. Because didn't it turn out that all of them were more successful, except for Shawn Waltman, than Triple H? And you could argue at that point maybe the 1, 2, 3 kid was. And then all of a sudden he flipped it around and Triple H has become more successful than all of them.
And are you saying that maybe they stay friends with him because of his position?
Well, I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm saying now it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? And it's good because they probably took care of him when he needed it, and now he takes care of them when they need it. So I think that's what friendship can be. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything bad. I wasn't trying to say that. I'm just saying that maybe you're right. Maybe he doesn't fit in the best, but he still fits in.
I wish my friendship with you elevated me to some new places.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still waiting for that.
I'm going to make that work for you somehow.
I'm still waiting for that payoff.
It's going to happen.
That's a long storyline that needs a resolution.
I want you to be patient. That's what I need from you right now.
I need you to become the chief brand officer of something and hook me up big time. I was a big fan of the Jackal, and it didn't really last too long, but I thought that was kind of a neat idea. He was kind of like a demented kind of cult leader. And he lowered from the ceiling on that podium.
I will say this. I think they nailed it. If you were going to try to do a cult leader, they nailed the guy. The guy, he looks like a cult leader.
Yeah.
But they didn't go anywhere with it, right?
No,
they didn't put enough work into it.
No, they really didn't. It was a shame.
If they had gotten some people that they wanted to be like in a transition period, kind of like Triple H was changing from the Greenwich Blue Blood to something else, that would have been a nice, like maybe 6 months to run somebody through. Like, I don't know, maybe Wild Man Mark Marrow has joined this cult leader and he's possessed. And like the Acolytes, you know how the Acolytes went through the ministry, but then they became something else. They did through like a brand change. You could go through that.
Is Sable possessed too? If Mark Marrow becomes possessed, is Sable possessed?
That would have been a great way to get them apart. You could even do a storyline there where it's like Sable is upset, her man or husband, whatever they were on the show. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait, I've seen something here. This has been talked about a little bit.
I'd like for you to finish your point, though. You're saying that Sable should be brainwashed by the Jackal?
No. She would, at this point, Mark Marrow's been brainwashed by the Jackal, and Sable is devastated. because Mark Marrow.
And how does that get her in her underwear, which is the point of that show back then?
Well, I got it. Okay. So Mark Marrow, he's not interested in sexual things anymore. So
Because he's in the cult.
So Sable does a strip
He does a bikini contest.
to snap him out of the cult. You know what I mean? And that's to get him out of it. That makes sense, right? I think that's good TV.
I've heard of a lot worse storylines. Believe me.
I'm going with that.
We were talking about this not too long ago.
Yeah.
There's a segment on Raw, like May of '97.
It's so good.
Where Bret Hart is sitting in a wheelchair, and he brings Shawn Michaels out to the ring, and he just basically rips him apart in front of the crowd verbally.
It's the ultimate setup.
And then the show ends. But then after the show ends, they show clips of it where he stands up and Shawn Michaels kicks him. Shawn Michaels always felt like that was a setup because he belittles him, and then Shawn Michaels just stands there and listens to it and doesn't get any payback.
And it feels like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like genius. It makes Bret Hart like a diabolical genius to do such a thing.
Do you think that was his real intention?
It takes true guts, balls, and grit to do something like that.
Was that his intention, you think?
I'm going to say yes because I like the story better that way. I don't know that. Has anyone ever asked him?
Not that I've heard.
Can we have guests on this show? Bret Hart would be a great guest on this show. We could probably fit a third chair in here.
Absolutely. You got some information you can contact?
Maybe this is going to be the way. Maybe this is the way I can... He'll probably end up taking your chair.
You got to think from Bret Hart's... The two of them, I mean, you can see things from both sides, but from Bret Hart's standpoint, man, Shawn Michaels has been such a thorn in his side. He beats him at... Shawn Michaels beats Bret Hart at WrestleMania. And then it comes time for the rematch at WrestleMania 13, and Shawn loses his smile and relinquishes the belt, and now it's mind games to the umpteenth degree with the two of them. It's so interesting.
And they're they're not the same, but they're on the same playing field.
Yeah.
At the same time.
They're both very competitive and very...
There's money on the line. There's pride and respect and credit on the line.
Right. It's very interesting. What an interesting time with the two of them. And then you think, like a couple months...
This picture's gorgeous.
A couple months later, you can see the disdain in Bret Hart's expression there.
And the insincere... Shawn Michaels, that's like the most insincere thing.
And Vince McMahon just so desperate to keep everyone happy.
Oh, yeah. And there's his dollars and cents right there.
That's a great picture. It's so interesting. And then a couple months later, they're both gone off the show. And then it's so interesting.
And that's the worst. Can you imagine that run of 97, 98, 99 with them two in it also?
I wonder how that would have worked. I almost feel like they had to get out of the way to make room for other people.
It's true, but you almost could. Well, can you imagine how full a 2-hour Raw would be with all those people going at full steam ahead? And you would have less right to censor and things like that.
Yeah.
Less oddities.
Boy, Bret Hart's WCW run was so bland and unmemorable. It's a shame he left. Because he was so red hot when he left. I guess that speaks to WCW's mismanagement of just one of the hottest name in the game at that point. One of them. And then you bring him in and just make him so unmemorable.
Well, for them, it always seemed to be more about getting people away from It was always getting people away from WWE instead of what are we going to do with them now that we got them. Here we'll lure them here with this money with no plan of what we're going to do with them once we get them. That's what it seemed like anyway.
So that sounds to me like you would have gone to WCW while your brother would have stayed in the WWF.
Maybe, but here's
You want the paycheck.
I do want the paycheck, but here's something. I like to be happy every day. So if I was happy with WWF and I felt like I was treated fairly and respected, then I would stay. I won't just leave for a couple of bucks more if I'm already happy somewhere. If I'm not happy and not enjoying it, or I'm indifferent that way, and it's more money, yes, I'll go.
This is kind of interesting. I think this might be the difference between me and you as people. Would you stick around with the company who was paying more, but you felt like they weren't giving you great material? Like, would you have taken less money somewhere else if you could have been creatively fulfilled, or would you have taken more money to just?
No, and but you present it for everybody. I wouldn't worry. I would stick it out for the more money if I was already there. But like I said, if I was miserable, I'd leave.
You're one of those people, and I think most people are like this. You have a separation between this is what I need to do as work. It doesn't define my creativity in my life. I do this so I can do this.
That's me.
Right.
I do this so I can do this.
I've always struggled with that.
Sure.
Which is why I am where I am.
What? Where are you? Whoa! Jeez, like the boogeyman jumped out at me.
A special look at the athlete and the man of Charles Wright, who became Papa Shango and, of course, the Godfather.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. By early '98, he wasn't the Godfather yet. He was still Kama Mustafa with the nation.
What is your favorite Charles Wright then?
Oh, it's got to be the Ho Train.
Oh, you like that?
Got to be.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was great for what it was. It's not big for me. I like Papa Shango.
You look at a crowd, you go back and watch a Raw from '98, '99. There are two musics that aren't the big names. Let's leave The Rock and Austin and those guys out of it. When Val Venus's music hits, and you hear that dirty saxophone with the hello, the crowd erupts.
Yep.
And when you hear that bow, 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 the crowd just goes crazy.
That's a lot of fun. You're absolutely right. And I agree completely. I'm sure a lot of people like that. I just really thought that Papa Shango was a cool looking character.
Who since those days, they were like mid-carders, let's be honest, Val Venus and the Godfather. They were kind of middle guys, but the crowd was so excited about them. When was the last time you saw that kind of reaction for guys at that level? It's very rare, I guess is my point.
It's pretty neat. And it's a good way to fill out your show, too, with guys like that.
The audience seemed to be having a lot more fun back in...
Well, without a doubt. You don't need to depress the day with that. Is that more Sunny? Don't just skip over Sonny. I've always had a huge crush on Sonny. At any time period, at any age or size.
Did you ever see any of her Smoky Mountain Wrestling when she was in Smoky
I didn't.
Mountain?
Was she in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
She was.
With Chris Candido?
Yes. That's where she started.
Do you think that she treated Chris Candido fairly? I've heard
I don't know all the details behind that. I just hear secondhand stories.
It sounds awful.
I think it sounds like Chris Candido was really in love with her.
Do you think she was part of the reason he's not here anymore?
I don't even know where to venture a guess on that.
I think he lost the will to live because he had a broken heart.
Vince McMahon has done a interview with America Online. Those were some interesting days. A lot of people don't remember when you would have to do interviews with America Online. That was like, they couldn't believe it.
Were you big into the chat rooms?
I was for a while. I got thrown out.
Yeah, I was for a little bit. I never got thrown out.
Orlos Boric was sitting on a powder keg. Battered and bloodied in his native Puerto Rico, Savio Vega...
Is that Savio Vega with face paint?
...recalls the battles he had with his fellow Boricuas in their island nation.
Oh, more mask guys to not get excited about. That is a lot of hair. That's a lot of body hair. I'm always impressed with people that have a lot of body hair.
Well, you have back hair, don't you?
I do. I have considerable body hair, but my son has more than me, and that guy has more, and George's Animal Steel. But not many people have that much body hair. I still don't see a lot of people that have a ton, like a noticeable, like a lot of body hair.
Well, it's a genetic thing, right?
No, it is, but it's kind of unusual. To me, it's unusual. It's really neat.
Yo, do you remember Chief J Strongbow?
I remember hearing a lot about Chief J Strongbow, but Chief. Hold up.
Yeah.
Just skip it.
He drew big money. Chief J Strongbow.
Chief J Strongbow, I remember hearing a lot about growing up from one of my stepfathers was really a big fan of Chief J Strongbow, and he would tell me a lot of good stories about how he would take his claw and he would really dig it in your stomach and just and then take you down and he'd pin you by clawing your stomach.
One of your stepfathers? How many stepfathers did you have? Is that for another day?
I had a few.
The night the belt changed hands, Razor Ramon and Jeff Jarrett at Royal Rumble '95. I know you're a big Jeff Jarrett fan.
I'm not a big fan of this Jeff Jarrett. I'm not a big fan of any Jeff Jarrett, but I like Jeff Jarrett. I don't think Jeff Jarrett was ever used not just right. I don't know, there was something missing there. It could have been better. I liked him when he was dragging Deborah around with the "Don't Piss Me Off" shirt and the guitar. I thought that made a lot of sense. When he was like abusing his significant other. I thought that's what he looked like.
Case in point, his object at that point was to get Deborah in her underwear, much like it was the Raw of that time. How is Deborah going to get in her bra during this match? Remember, she would distract the opponents. That was 1998. How are we going to get people in as little amount of clothes as possible?
Deborah was vivacious.
Absolutely.
Va-va-voom, kind of voluptuous. Yeah, she really was.
Wow, I didn't think I'd hear that one today. Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus Nature Boy Ric Flair Fantasy Warfare. Well, that ended up happening at that WrestleMania 24.
Okay, if you're booking, so what year would you put Ric Flair in his prime?
Oh, probably late 80s.
Late 80s.
He had that series of matches against Terry Funk and Ricky Steamboat in the late 80s. That probably, I'd say, it was at his peak.
And then we'll say Shawn Michaels in full health, 97.
Yeah.
With that attitude.
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay, put them in a program together. What's the story there? What's the story? Do you got a storyline there? Someone's gonna have to not be a heel.
Maybe the boyhood dream Shawn Michaels is facing his idol.
So maybe a year before, maybe like 96 Shawn Michaels.
That could be money.
Is taking on Ric Flair.
That could be money.
I could live with that. What's Ric Flair doing to him? What's he doing to Jose Lothario? Can you see Jose Lothario in the figure 4 leg lock right now?
Ric Flair says you stay here and help the missus with the dishes. I'm going downtown, and he points to Jose Lothario. That's one of my favorite Ric Flair comments of all time. He's feuding with Ricky Steamboat, and Ric Flair's got this fur coat on. The babes are around him, and Ricky Steamboat says, "You know what, Ric Flair? You come out here with these women and you talk about your money, and I don't like it. I'm a family man, and I don't like that kind of talk." And Ric Flair looks at him, he goes, "You know what? Why don't you go help the missus with the dishes? I'm going downtown."
I'm going downtown. I've
said that before. I'm going downtown. Gosh. No one knows what that means, but
I just want to hear some man tell me that he's going home. Can't go out because he's going home to the wife. I'm going to lay that line on him so fast. Keeping that one right here.
Oh man, can you imagine how much fun it must have been to be Ric Flair in the '80s? I can't. I couldn't take it.
Did
anyone have more fun than Ric Flair in the '80s?
I'm trying, but there's no possible way. I mean, there's no possible way. I don't have the money or the opportunity.
I'm always a little envious of people that have that much fun, because I'm not a lot of fun. So I always kind of admire that. Well, you stopped writing your tracks when you saw the Steve Austin denim vest.
Yeah, I decided to move on. I didn't feel like dealing with it.
You had that vest.
I had that album.
And I know you had that vest too.
I have that vest. I still have it.
Still have it.
I still have it.
Does it fit?
Do you know how much it cost? I remember it costing $75. Okay, it cost $45 right there. I remember it costing.
You got the VIG. You got the high VIG markup. $75. They saw you coming.
What year was this? I think it might have been a year later. I think he might have been. Okay, 98. No, he was pretty good there. Maybe it was that. I thought it was 75.
All right, this is always a very memorable poster with No Way Out with Kane with that eye.
Yeah, but that was a real big disappointing show.
You didn't like that Savio Vega was the mystery partner.
That's not right. To say there's going to be a mystery partner and let it be Savio Vega, that's BS. Yeah. Shotgun Saturday Night. Shotgun Saturday Night, I tuned in first couple episodes. That show was wild.
Well, it was from nightclubs. I mean, it was from like live music venues and things. It had a whole different feel to it. They were going, I think, for that ECW kind of gritty feel.
But it didn't last long.
And then they stopped doing it.
They couldn't keep it going, but it was a really neat show.
Then it switched to like taped before Raws and stuff.
Does the network ever have the Shotgun Saturday Night on there? Has it ever had
Not that I hear, but that would be great.
That'd be a nice addition. They'll probably do that at some point.
Everyone was influenced so much by ECW at that point with the gritty feel and the kind of hip kind of stuff.
You know, I give ECW a lot of credit for making wrestling look different. And that's something that I haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. I don't think where I had the feel that, man, this is and not only different but entertaining.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a big ECW fan. WWF and WCW were kind of handcuffed to the fact that they had like a crowd in front of them. Maybe it was live, maybe it was taped, but they had an audience and an arena.
Right.
ECW show could be made and edited later after you get all the footage.
Right.
So they didn't have to keep cutting back to the live crowd to do such and such and do such and such. ECW could do a match here, a promo here, something at a totally different location. They could kind of do anything they wanted with that show, which is, in my opinion, one of the best wrestling shows, that ECW TV show from like 96, 7, 8. But WWF and WCW kind of had that crowd that you had to kind of incorporate into everything.
You know what's funny about that is that WCW started to go live, and then WWF for a while was taped, and then maybe they'd do a live show every once in a while. But WCW would give away their matches,
Yes.
and then also not just that, internet would give away
Right.
tape matches. So they had to go live, so they wouldn't give their matches given away. Now I fast forward way to where we are now as we film this. It's 2020, and everybody's still doing live shows. And to speak to your point, maybe someone, now that nobody gives a crap about spoiling matches because nobody cares about who's winning or losing the matches, in my opinion,
Yeah.
why not go to a taped or edited program where you can do some more things, where you can get more involved with the storytelling process? Instead of just having to be, like you said, you're suffering under live conditions always. You have to play to a live crowd always. And maybe instead start doing a tape show, more like a television show, and then have live events like a big live pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's a great idea. ECW did an episode one time that was just a Shane Douglas promo. Like, he would say something for a couple minutes, and then it would cut to what he was talking about, and then it was like it cut back, and that was the whole episode.
Right.
It's like you could never do that with a Raw or a Nitro. You couldn't do that.
Right.
So,
Why don't we do it?
do what?
Why don't we do a wrestling show? Be a fun idea.
Stay tuned for that one. From February of 1998. Ryan, do you like this time? This is obviously a really fun time. This is one of my favorite times in the wrestling world. Early 98.
Without a doubt. I don't think we're alone in that. But I mean, like, it's easy to jump on that bandwagon, but I mean, it was good. I mean, it came from a time, you know, it was good before, and then it got kind of bad. We did one recently in '95, kind of bad.
Yeah.
And now look at, I mean, and then it got great. You know what I mean? It just got great.
I'm just thinking about me. If I was going to pose for this picture like Shawn Michaels has, he's got the WWF belt covering his genitalia. I was thinking, if I was going to pose for this, I could be totally covered with just like a regular belt.
Oh, I got you. Like a Coach belt or something, like like a pant, like for your pants. I understand.
But that's my problem.
And then you know what? I'm thinking right now that gives me a good idea. I'm thinking we're going to get ourselves a Winged Eagle belt, and then on the website we can have a picture of each, the same pose right here, me and you, and then we get just with the belt on.
Well, who's the third person?
No, just me and you, both with the belt. We don't have to mimic theirs, you know, just the belt, completely nude with the belt.
What does that do for anybody?
It'll be funny.
It'll be funny, all right.
I thought it'd be funny. Trust me, I pop these clothes off, I don't look much different than Shawn Michaels.
Ryan, take us out of here, please.
I think enough said.